So, hey there. I haven't done one of these in a little while. I'm going to be doing them a lot more because I don't know. I just feel called to it and I like to do it. Even when I don't want to do it, I find myself in the recording studio or, get this, sitting on the couch without recording anything or having any kind of social media and reading a paper book. And I remember that was pleasurable. It was pleasant. And so I've been doing that. More than that, though, I have been doing something. I'm putting together, I'm doing a little project that basically highlights all the good readings that I did at Trapeza at the monastery. Things that I heard or read at Trapeza, and just it hit me like, where has this been all my life? Those kinds of things. And there were so many. There's so many. I was fairly well read as a Catholic, not slamming Catholics, but the spiritual side of things I did very little reading on. I was wanting to beat the Protestants and all of that. Anyway, there were many things at the monastery that I read, and so I'm playing with a little recording project to highlight those things. And this is one of them. It's about the fear of God. And it's one of those phrases that if you grow up with this stuff, you never really question the fear of God. What does that mean? And, you know, in my generation, excuse me, in my generation, and maybe probably a while before, it was all about Jesus is love, God is love, don't judge, blah, 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 blah. And so the fear of God was like a quaint thing. We're not supposed to be afraid of him. We're not supposed to be living in fear of God. So what does that mean? So what I'm going to read now is from The Mystical Marriage. Put it over here, right there. Mystical Marriage by St. Maximos. Well, it's by Elder Aimilianos. And he's riffing off of Maximos the Confessor. It's a great book. It was the first book that I was exposed to at the monastery. And this isn't like a theological definition of fear, but it's a reflection on the fear of God and what that means and how it it's an aspect of it. I'll probably have a whole series on what the fear of God means. It does not mean cowering fear. Oh, he's so big, he can crush me. Hopefully this will shed a little light on that. So here we go. Oh, and real quick, by the way, obviously, I am not in the monastery, or maybe it's not so obvious. It's just a very small space, very warm space, I might add. Gonna have to adjust that. But I'm not at the monastery anymore. That was a surprise thing that happened recently, and so I'm not there. I'm not going to tell that story right now. It's kind of funny. I got the nickname from the elder of the monastery of the Wolf of the monastery, the Wolf of St. Iacovos, which is going on my Orthodox power wall. I've been called the Henry Rollins of Orthodoxy, and now I'm the Wolf of St. Iacovos, which is pretty cool. I'm just sitting here trying to, make a living for my kids, get closer to God, do my work, do my day job, but I keep getting these weird nicknames. So I don't even have any tattoos. How does this happen? Anyway, so I'm going to read. Here we go. A person truly fears God when his whole mind, his whole sense of self-awareness, is filled with the feeling and experience of his smallness. If this fear is lacking, the hope of salvation is lost, since the person no longer knows who he is or what he truly wants and needs. The fear of God is the unceasing stance of the person before God, shaped by his true knowledge and recognition of God's greatness and holiness. But when I do not have true fear of God, I think that God is there simply to respond to my requests, to solve my problems, and for me to simply keep carrying on in the same way. This means I am devoid of the knowledge of God, that I have not understood that God himself is absent from my life, and that God is transcendent, beyond all things and infinitely beyond me. God is unapproachable, incomprehensible, beyond anything I could ever imagine. So how, then, is it possible for me not to fear him? This is why the fear of God is necessary for everyone who is on the path to salvation, and thus is necessary for everyone. To be sure, the fear of God ultimately assumes the form of love, which casts out all fear, 1 John 4:18. Not, however, in the sense that love displaces fear, but rather that love, in a certain way, superabounds in the soul and governs the person's life. This is a condition of fulfillment, whereas previously the soul knew only the feeling of lack